everyone? It's Ryan with Best Bets with Ryan. We're going to be talking about college football, which just started, and lots of craziness going on in the first week of games. We're going to be talking about our bets. So first, we're going to be discussing middle betting and some middle bets that we took. We'll just be discussing a big prop bet that we hit, and we'll be discussing about how the games went because there's just a lot of craziness going on. Basically, that in college, after a first down, the clock stops, so it helps the teams on offense. And in the NFL, that doesn't happen, so that kind of screwed us in some of our bets. But we'll be discussing that. So we did start off by hitting Penn State at plus 650 live. We hit them here. They came back to win. You can see I highlighted that. So a nice big hit for them, plus 650 in Penn State. We also almost hit West Virginia at 12-1 when they were down 7. They threw the ball in the end zone. The guy almost had the catch, but it ended up being ruled a drop. So that would have been a huge hit. So that was the first couple games. So here we're going to get into some middle betting, and basically what middle betting is taking a team to cover a spread. Say the Houston's playing, and they're favored by 4.5, right? So you take them covering 4.5, but then you take the other team covering a higher number. So and you have to try and hit that number in the middle. So say Houston's favored by 4.5, and then whoever they're playing is favored by is underdogs, basically getting 7 points. So you want Houston to win by at least 4.5, but less than 7, and then so you can hit both bets. So if you don't hit the middle, you win one, you lose one, so you end up paying some of the vig. So it's a little risk and a big reward. So you just got to find key numbers. So the first game we'll discuss is the Houston game. We had a middle bet, so we had the total, not the team spread. We had the total amount of points in the game at over 44.5, but then we needed under 48.5, so we needed them to get around 45 to 48 points to hit the middle bet. So Houston ended up driving. They were up by I think they were up by a field. Oh no, it was tie game actually. They ended up kicking the field goal with what was it, 20 something seconds left to go up by 3, and then that would have got our middle bet because I think it was 45 points. It was 45 or 46 or 47. It was one of those. So we had the middle bet going. They were up 3. It was 46 points. We had the middle bet. Only had 23 seconds left. I think it was UTSA that ended up they were playing against, and they only had 27 seconds left to go down the field, and they ended up driving down and ended up getting the field goal to put into overtime, which kind of screwed us. I think we did have Houston at plus 250, so they ended up winning in overtime. But with the college rules is that they got first downs, and then the clock would stop after the first down, which totally screwed us because in the NFL that would just run out. They didn't have timeouts left. So once they get up to the line, once the ball is placed, then the clock runs. So they ended up getting some extra time there. Kicking the field goal, went to overtime. That totally screwed us. That would have been a nice bet. The next game, a bigger game, was the Notre Dame-Ohio State game. So we actually took a middle bet of Notre Dame's total team points. So we had Notre Dame, we needed them to get over 13.5 points, but under 16.5 points. And it was 21-10. So Notre Dame had the ball, so they needed to either kick a field goal or a touchdown. But then if they got the touchdown, they were going to have to go for 2 to make it a field goal game. So if they got to 16, it would have been 16-21. If they got a 2-point conversion, it would have been 18-21. So they would have had to have gone for the 2-point conversion. Anyway, they didn't end up scoring, right? So that kind of sucked. So they would have, if they didn't get the 2-point conversion, we would have had a nice big middle bet for a few hundred at least, maybe $300-$400. And we also had a middle bet of over 33.5, but under 34.5 points. And it was 21-10. So Ohio State had the ball. And actually what happened was Notre Dame. So this is what happened. Notre Dame was down 2 scores with 4 minutes left. And fourth down, they ended up punting, which you're down 2 scores. You have to go for it. If it's fourth and forever. I think you still kind of have to go for it because it's just that you're a better chance of picking up that fourth and I think it was 4th and 20, 4th and 25 than just punting the ball. So if they went for it, they could have got a touchdown still. Or if they didn't get it, Ohio State would have had the ball there and would have kicked the field goal. And we would have hit the middle bet for over 33.5 and under 34.5 points. But they ended up punting it, which just totally screwed our bets. Ohio State ended up just running out the clock, and that cost us, either both of our middle bets. So a lot of situations there we could have had a middle bet, and we didn't. The next game was, I don't think anyone was watching this game, but it was Washington State and Idaho. I think it was on TV, but no one's watching this game. But this was a huge middle bet. We would have had for, I think, over $1,000 if it hit. We had, we needed over 41.5 total points scored in the game, but then under 47.5 total points scored. So Washington has the ball. It was, I think, at 40 at the time, and it was at 40, I believe. Yeah, it was 40 or 41. So Washington has the ball on like the 10-yard line, and they basically just needed this chip shot field goal to go up by 10 and seal the game. So chip shot field goal, they're gonna hit the field goal. We're probably gonna win our huge middle bet. The guy ends up missing the chip shot field goal, which was unbelievable. I just don't know how kickers miss these field goals. They have one job, just kick a chip shot field goal. It's like plain and simple. So, but then we did have Idaho at 40-1. They're down 7. They can put in overtime maybe. There wasn't that much time left on the clock. I mean, again, with college rules though, like they ended up driving all the way down. They're 40-1, down by 7. They just needed the touchdown. Maybe they would have went for 2 instead of going overtime. Guy ends up throwing an interception in the end zone. So lost both there. Just another bad beat for us. And it was just like, it was just crazy. I mean, you can see here let me see if I can pull this up. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, you can see on Parks here we had a string of wins here, but we had all these. We had a nice couple wins here. See the under 47, under 42.5. We did have them covering 14.5, which was nice. And a couple of the big bets here we won. All these bets, just some other random bets that we took that were good at the time. But see the 47.5. But there was one prop bet that we hit, which I'll pull up here. The Boise State game. Boise State was down 17, and they had a prop here that was the next drive for them to have a field goal attempt. And I'm thinking, okay, there's only a couple minutes left in the game. They probably would go for the touchdown, but 17 points, you need a field goal and 2 touchdowns, right? So a field goal is not out of the question. So we got 38-1 odds. I'm pretty sure it was 45-1 odds. I'm checking with them, but it was, I think, 45-1 odds. The odds kept going down. So we took at 24-1 and 30-1. We bet it twice for a field goal attempt, and it was 4th down, and they ended up kicking the field goal. Didn't have to go in, or either way, they just had to attempt the field goal. So that was a nice, huge bet, nice prop bet we won here. 195 and 375, so a little over like 550 there. A nice solid bet to kind of cover our bad beats that we took there. We did end up hitting, like I said, what did we get? I think we hit Penn State also at plus 650. I think I showed you guys that already, right? Yeah, I showed you that one. What else left do we have? And then the last game was Florida State LSU, which was on yesterday. Again, another middle bet that ends up costing us. There was a lot of craziness that ended up going in this game, and this is just where time management and game management is just like key. And I don't know what's going on with these coaches and these play calls, but like ends up. So Florida State's up by 7, right? We had a middle bet of Florida State covering 5.5, but LSU covering 7. So we needed Florida State to win by 6 or 7, right? 7. If LSU covered 7 and they won by 7, it would have been a push, but we would have won the 5.5. So it's still a middle bet. Still would have won. Florida State's up by 7 at the end of the game. They end up punting the ball with a few minutes left. LSU muffs the punt on their own 10-yard line. FSU grabs the ball, runs into the end zone. You can't advance the ball, so they were down at the 5-yard line. We're like, okay, so that's good. Florida State's going to run the clock out, kick a field goal. They might get a touchdown. LSU can come back and get a touchdown to make it 7. But a field goal would have been ideal because we did have Florida State also minus 7.5, but also plus 13.5. So they need to win between 8 and 13. They kick a field goal, they're up by 10. Even if LSU drives down, kick a field goal, they win by 7. We win the bet no matter what. We needed to win by 7 or the 10. 7 and 10 were the key numbers we were looking at. All right, so Florida State runs the ball a few times. Third down, we're like, okay, like at this point, I'm just running a QB sneak or something safe. Like you kick the field goal, like you end the game. It's over. There's no chance LSU win. LSU had not enough time. There was like a minute left on the clock, right? Florida State ends up pitching the ball like a handoff, except they pitched it and the guy fumbled it, and LSU got the ball, and we're like, oh my god, Jesus, like this is insane. Like 10 would have been solid, right? Because we would have had the middle bet, but they're up 7, and now LSU can drive down and maybe tie it. But there was only like a minute left. And here's again where college rules screw us. After each first down, the clock stops, right? So they end up going 99 yards. Last play of the game, 1 second left. They ended up getting a first down. The guy was in bounds, but since it was a first down, they had 1 second left on the clock, so they gave him one more play, right? So Florida State for some reason just played lax defense. They just let him catch these side routes, these quick passes, just like getting out of bounds. Like I don't know why they're not guarding like looking to anyway. Like they ended up just driving down on the 2-yard line. Of course LSU ends up getting the touchdown to screw our middle bet because they would have lost by 7 that we would have won. And then at the end, they ended up missing the extra point. I think it got blocked, and LSU ends up losing by 1. So a crazy game, but we had a lot of big chances at middle bets. We had a big payouts on lots of these, and it just ended up not working out. But lots of craziness. We're looking forward to more football coming up, especially NFL, which is where we do our most damage and college. So if you're looking to get with me and sign up. There's some good deals going on. Definitely make lots of money. Our system works. And you can, follow me on YouTube Twitter, ACPokero271, or Best Bets with Ryan is the handle. YouTube, Best Bets with Ryan, or on TikTok, Best Bets with Ryan. Shoot me a message. We do have a Facebook group going too, which we've been winning on. If you want the link to that, I can definitely get it to you. Subscribe though to YouTube and shoot me any messages with any questions. Thanks. Have a good day.